Chapter 1581. While they were dining, Beatrice made another visit to the Graham residence, only to be turned away at the door. Upon hearing about her visit, Edwin glanced at Orissa and Darius, who were enjoying their meal in the dining room. Not wanting to disrupt the pleasant atmosphere, he chose not to go over and inform Orissa. He decided to wait until they had finished their meal before telling them about the unexpected guest. "Eat more, Mommy. This is delicious." Timothy filled Orissa's bowl with plenty of food. "Thank you, sweetheart. I can't eat that much, don't give me any more food," Orissa urged. Otherwise, her bowl would be overflowing with meat and the pasta would be hidden. Smiling, Timothy nodded. "Mommy, just let us know what you'd like to eat, and we'll get it for you." Cyril, Orissa was grateful. She looked at the other children, who were diligently eating without needing her to remind them, and smiled. "What is Edwin so busy with that he's not joining us for the meal?" She glanced towards the living room. She had been so engrossed in conversation with the children that she hadn't heard the doorbell. Edwin went to see who's at the door, Darius replied. He also looked in Edwin's direction and muttered, "He's been gone for quite a while. Why hasn't he come to eat yet? Perhaps he had something else to attend to." Sean also craned his neck and called out, "Edwin, come quickly and eat. Otherwise, we'll finish everything." "Yes, coming." Edwin was concerned that Beatrice might cause a scene at the door, so he had been monitoring the surveillance footage and instructed the bodyguards to escort her away if necessary. Only when he heard Sean's call did he quickly return to the dining room. "Who was it?" Darius was the first to ask. Everyone turned their gaze to Edwin with curiosity. Unfazed, Edwin replied with a smile, "Just someone passing by. I had someone send her away." Darius glanced at him, clearly unconvinced, but chose not to press further. Since Edwin refuses to talk about it, it must be an unwelcome visitor. "Let's eat, Edwin," Orissa called out and continued eating. "Quick, come and eat, Mr. Whitley. We've almost finished everything." Jasper looked at Edwin with a grin. His mouth was full of food, and he was chewing non-stop, looking adorable. "Haha, if you guys have finished everything, I'll cook more," Edwin replied cheerfully, sitting down to eat. It was not until everyone had finished eating and went to the living room to rest that Darius asked Edwin, who was preparing coffee for him, who came over during dinner. "Mrs. Graham's mother," Edwin whispered into Darius' ear. Darius frowned, wondering what had brought her here again at that hour. Darius glanced at his daughter-in-law, who was playing with his grandchildren. The person outside was her mother, after all, so he felt it was only right to inform Orissa about it. Thus, he called out, "Come here for a moment, Isa." "What's the matter, Dad?" Orissa asked warmly as she approached Darius, smiling. "Mrs. Lord is currently at the door. If you want to see her, I'll have Edwin let her in. If you don't, I'll have her sent away," Darius said directly without any hesitation. Orissa was taken aback. She looked back and forth between the two men. "Ah, so Beatrice is here again. Honestly, I don't want to see her at all. But if I don't meet with her when she comes knocking on my door this late at night, she'll definitely come again. Let her in," she turned to Edwin and said. When she faced Beatrice, her emotions were hardly affected anymore. Darius observed her for a moment. Seeing that she was calm, he gestured to Edwin, "Let her in." Chapter 1582. It didn't take long before the butler led Beatrice in, accompanied by a young girl. Upon seeing Darius, Beatrice greeted, "Good evening, old Mr. Graham." Darius gave her a slight nod and responded indifferently, "Please have a seat." Beatrice glanced around the room before her gaze finally settled on Orissa. Seeing that Orissa was ignoring her, she paused for a moment. Without feeling any awkwardness, she took a seat and pulled the girl down beside her. "Is Benjamin not here?" Beatrice asked Darius with an ingratiating expression on her face. "Mr. Graham must be busy, so it's only natural that he isn't home," the girl who came with Beatrice chimed in, her voice laced with a hint of shyness when she mentioned Benjamin. Darius furrowed his brows. Sean and Orissa also noticed it. The shy and meek voice was too conspicuous, revealing the hidden motive behind it. Orissa shifted her gaze towards the girl. The girl also happened to be looking at her, her eyes flickering for a moment. But in the next second, she calmly greeted Orissa. Orissa. She appeared to be around 20 years old, fair and delicate, radiating youth. Coupled with her soft voice, she was indeed very attractive. When will Mr. Graham be back? As Orissa looked at the girl, her gaze grew colder, and she almost lost her appetite. Anyone with eyes could discern the girl's intentions. Who are you? I don't know you, Orissa retorted icily without any regard for the girl. The girl's expression changed. On the verge of tears, she looked at Beatrice with a sense of injustice. Beatrice looked at Orissa, her voice hardening slightly. Issa, Lorraine is Mikey's sister, so she naturally calls you by your name like Mikey does. It's her first time meeting you, and she's a bit shy. Orissa snickered. Shy? I don't see that at all. The moment she arrived, she started asking about my husband. If I didn't know any better, I'd think she's someone who's trying to seduce him. She had a new understanding of Beatrice, for she had never expected the woman to bring her stepdaughter there to seduce Benjamin. What does she take me for? A look of embarrassment flitted across the faces of Beatrice and the girl. They were utterly ashamed that their thoughts had been so blatantly brought to light by Orissa. You misunderstood, Orissa. I have no such intention. The girl looked so aggrieved that anyone who didn't know any better would think Orissa had bullied her. Orissa waved a hand in annoyance, her voice cold as she rebuked, cut it out. I don't know someone like you and have absolutely nothing to do with you. Stop pretending to be innocent. I don't want to lose my appetite. The girl wanted to curse aloud and retort, but she dared not and could only hold her tongue. At that moment, a myriad of emotions flashed across her face. PFF'd. Sean couldn't help but burst into laughter. He truly admired Orissa, for she was truly formidable. Beatrice's face turned dark. Why would you say such a thing to her, Issa? Lorraine is just concerned about Benjamin. Ha, since you two came to look for my husband, I'm sorry, but he really isn't home, so you should leave. Upon hearing Beatrice's condescending lecture, delivered with an air of superiority, Orissa could no longer bear it and promptly asked them to leave. If she even cared a bit about my feelings, she wouldn't have brought her stepdaughter here. She treats her stepdaughter far better than she ever treated me. HMPH. You two truly have no shame, even wanting to seduce my daddy. Let me tell you that my daddy would never be interested in a woman like you. Get out of our house immediately. You're not welcome here. Gavin walked up to Orissa's side. His petite face was as cold as ice as he glared furiously at Beatrice and the girl. Get out. You're not welcome in our house. Jesse stepped forward indignantly and pushed them. Get out. Scram. If you don't leave, I'll let the wolves out to bite you both. Jasper also stepped forward to support his sister. Beatrice and the girl didn't dare do anything to the siblings, especially in Darius' presence, and they felt utterly miserable. Jesse, Jasper, Orissa, fearing they might get hurt, called them back. Chapter 1583. At that moment, the sound of a wolf's howl echoed outside the courtyard, causing both Beatrice and Lorraine to pale in fear. Issa, we came here today not only to find Benjamin, but also for you. Keegan is in trouble right now. Could you please ask Benjamin to help him? Please, for my sake. Beatrice quickly pleaded with Orissa, afraid that they would be kicked out. Orissa stared at her intently. She truly embodies selfishness. She was flaunting her power in front of us just a while ago, and now she needs our help, yet shows no humility in requesting it. On top of that, she even wants to use Lorraine to get on Benjamin's good side. You're not my mother. Why should I help you? Besides, Benjamin has no involvement in such matters and can't be of assistance. We're just business people. Please stop seeking us out. Orissa no longer wanted to see Beatrice use the fact that she was her mother to emotionally manipulate her when they had no blood relation whatsoever. If Beatrice had treated her sincerely, she wouldn't have been so indifferent. Instead, she would have considered the woman her biological mother. Why are you doing this? I admit I was wrong in the past. But I am your mother, after all. Is it too much to ask for a little help without you making all these excuses? Beatrice's face flushed bright red with fury, and she continued to boast about being Marissa's mother. Mrs. Lord, it's not that Issa is making excuses, but Benjamin truly can't help. Don't make yourself sick with anger. Benjamin isn't home today, so it would be best if you went home for now. Darius' face displayed displeasure as he scolded Arissa. Although his words were polite, it was clear that he was asking her to leave. Unaware that Beatrice was not Arissa's biological mother, he still showed her some respect. You really aren't my mother, so stop using that title to manipulate me in the future. Arissa coldly confronted Beatrice, serious and not just speaking out of anger. You're not even my mommy's mother, so stop bothering my mommy, Zachary sternly rebuked, his petite face icy cold. Exactly. How shameless. The other children chimed in, angrily berating Beatrice. Beatrice's eyes flickered, but she believed that Arissa couldn't possibly know about that matter. Dominic had insisted until his death that they never speak of it, making them swear to keep it a secret. I know you only said that because you're angry with me, Issa. I don't blame you. I did wrong you, Mrs. Lord. Arissa coldly interrupted Beatrice, her gaze unwavering. She stated, I share no blood ties with you, a fact I'm sure you know better than I do. You didn't come here out of any deep familial affection for me either, so stop pretending. In reality, you don't like me at all. If you had even a bit of concern for me, you wouldn't have brought your stepdaughter to my doorstep in search of my husband. Especially not in front of me. Do you think a biological mother would do such a thing? Truly fed up with Beatrice's constant harassment, she made it crystal clear that she wanted to sever ties with her. Shock appeared on Beatrice's face. She stared at Arissa in disbelief. How did you know? Could Regan have told her? That's impossible. He was more afraid of old Mr. York than anyone else, so much so that he was still intimidated by his father even in death. Arissa smirked derisively. Beatrice was completely shaken. She wanted to find an excuse to ask Arissa for help again on behalf of Keegan, but her mind went blank. Before she could speak, Arissa once again kicked them out. Edwin, escort them out. From now on, they are not allowed here. I don't want to see them. Understood, Mrs. Graham. Edwin called for the bodyguards and escorted Beatrice and Lorraine out of the Graham residence. As they were thrown out the door, both of them still looked utterly bewildered. Darius was also greatly astonished. If Issa isn't Regan or Beatrice's child, does that mean she's an orphan? At that thought, Darius looked at Arissa in anguish. Issa, when did you find out? Chapter 1584. Just a few days ago, Benjamin discovered the truth. Arissa calmly informed Darius, her voice void of any emotion. No wonder she doesn't treat you like a biological mother, Mrs. Graham. Edwin couldn't bear it any longer. If Beatrice wasn't her mother, he would have stopped being polite to her a long time ago. Darius, wearing a stern expression, showed no warmth towards Beatrice. If it weren't for his recovery, he would have confronted her earlier. In the future, if they dare to come here and harass Issa again, just kick them out. Don't worry about their pride. How dare they bully Issa repeatedly? Did they think the Graham family is an easy target? Furious, Darius turned to Edwin and commanded, Edwin, find out every crime Keegan has committed. Leave no stone unturned. Who does he think he is? Understood, old Mr. Graham. I will inform them immediately. Please calm down. Edwin reassured Darius before hurrying off to make the call. Mary quickly comforted Darius, gently patting his back. Calm down, Dad. Don't make yourself sick. I'm not bothered anymore, Arissa said as she handed Darius a glass of water. Darius had a fiery temper, so it wouldn't be good for his health to get too worked up. Arissa's calm demeanor only made Darius more distressed. Issa, if anyone dares to bully you in the future, tell Benjamin or me. I'll support you. You don't need parents like them. Consider me your father from now on. If anyone dares to bully or mistreat you, let me know. I won't let them off lightly. Even if it's Benjamin, if he dares to bully you, I'll teach him a lesson without favoritism. Thank you, Dad. Arissa was deeply moved, as Darius truly treated her more like a daughter than her own father ever did. Darius gently ruffled her hair and said softly, there's no need for thanks among family. From now on, I'm your father. No one can bully you. Got it, Dad? Orisa beamed, nodding her head, feeling the warmth of familial ties she hadn't experienced since her grandfather's passing. Sean watched the heartwarming scene unfold and secretly filmed it. He sent it to Benjamin, feeling sorry that Benjamin couldn't witness it. I wonder if Benjamin has found Kingsley and the others. At some point, the 6 children had slipped away to the study and were bustling around inside. Gavin, is there any other way we can track down Daddy? Zachary asked awkwardly, still not used to calling him Daddy. Even though there might not be much signal in the desert, Daddy would definitely have a satellite phone. As long as he's using it, we can contact him. Gavin explained. That's what Benjamin had told him. The children nodded. Oliver urged, then let's hurry up and contact him to see how things are going. Do you still remember which channel it is? Jasper asked, looking at Gavin hopefully. Yes, Gavin affirmed with a nod, his fingers swiftly typing on the keyboard. In no time, he tuned into a satellite channel. Can we really reach Daddy this way? Timothy asked in amazement, his eyes fixed on the screen. Absolutely. As long as Daddy has it with him, we can contact him. Zachary confidently replied, waiting patiently. However, even after trying to contact him for half an hour, they were unable to reach Benjamin. Meanwhile, Benjamin led everyone through the desert. They maintained a distance of 10 meters from each other as they searched for the missing individuals. As nightfall approached, the situation became more dangerous. No one dared to take it lightly, hoping to find them as soon as possible. Mr. Watts, Jack, the vast expanse of sand stretched as far as the eye could see, with no response to their calls. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. It felt like danger was brewing on the horizon. Benjamin narrowed his eyes. In front of us, Mr. Graham. Ethan's heart skipped a beat, a sense of foreboding washing over him. The wind swirled, carrying a cloud of dust and sand in their direction. Quick! Everyone huddled together and take shelter in a spot out of the wind, Benjamin shouted. Chapter 1585. Quick, quick, Ethan shouted, urging everyone to gather together immediately. A fierce wind was raging, sweeping up a sky full of yellow sand, making it difficult to take even a single step. Mr. Graham, seeing Benjamin rushing to stop others, Ethan hurried over to grab him. Mr. Graham, hide inside. Ethan had several nearby bodyguards huddle closely around Benjamin, protecting him within their circle. Everyone, get down, Benjamin shouted as he saw the sandstorm sweeping in. The howling wind shattered his voice, making it impossible for those standing at a distance to hear him. Quick, quick, everyone grab each other's hands and huddle down right where you are. Each person passed the message to those around them, spreading it from one to another. Everyone then gathered in small groups nearby, seeking shelter from the sandstorm. In just a few fleeting seconds, the sandstorm had already engulfed their surroundings, to the point where they couldn't see the people next to them anymore. The air was filled with heavy sand, making even breathing a challenge. Ethan and his companions shielded Benjamin within their circle. Benjamin himself held onto one of them, ensuring they wouldn't be swept away by the wind and sand. Everyone was on edge, praying fervently for the sandstorm to pass quickly. What's going on? Have we still not been able to contact Dad? Zachary frowned, looking at Gavin. He was quite worried, even though he wouldn't admit it verbally. Gavin shook his head, his brows furrowed tightly. He had no idea what the situation was with Benjamin. Timothy bit his lip, deeply concerned for Benjamin's safety. Didn't you say that this satellite phone could always be reached? Did Daddy not carry it with him? It's possible. Gavin glanced at his younger brother, wondering if there were any other possibilities to get in touch. What should we do, then? There won't be any danger, will there? Oliver, Jasper, and Jesse all looked at their 3 older brothers, feeling helpless. The only means of communication now was the satellite phone, but there was no response from the other end. Could it be that he didn't hear his phone ringing? Jessie looked at her brothers, her heart also filled with anxiety for Benjamin. What are you all up to? Orisa noticed that the 6 children were not in the living room, so she came looking for them. The expressions of the 6 kids changed in an instant, and the very next second, they all started smiling at Orissa. Jasper, quick-witted as he was, hastily came up with an excuse and said, "We were just telling some secrets, Mommy." Orissa narrowed her eyes, intuitively feeling that they weren't merely telling secrets, but rather, seemed to be hiding something from her. She walked over nonchalantly, curious to see what they were up to. "What are you whispering about?" However, the moment the kids discovered her, they had already switched the display on the computer screen. At this moment, what was on the computer screen was a video game, so there really wasn't much to see. "Hee hee, I dare not say," Jasper said as he glanced at the others, shifting the pressure onto them. Orissa raised an eyebrow, looking at them. Zachary also let out a few dry laughs, turning his gaze toward Oliver, Timothy, and Gavin. "Mommy, we were just talking about Zachary," Oliver said with a serious face, as if it were true. "What were you discussing about Zachary?" Orissa looked at their mysterious demeanor, her curiosity piqued. "We were talking about his popularity with the girls at school. There were quite a few girls who had a crush on him, they even wrote him love letters," Oliver said with a chuckle. Upon hearing this, Jessie couldn't help but burst into laughter as well. "Someone gave Zachary candies again today," Jessie reported to Orissa. She had wanted to eat them, but Zachary threw them back at the girls, even making the girl cry as a result. Orissa stared at Zachary, laughing as she said, "Zachary is handsome, so he's sure to attract the girls." "How wonderful!" Zachary's face blushed a deep red as he shot his younger siblings a warning glance. Gavin also squinted his eyes in amusement. "He even made her cry. Right back at you." Zachary waved at Gavin, flashing him a grin. Chapter 1586. Orissa glanced at the disdainful expressions of the two brothers, feeling somewhat amused yet helpless. If you don't like her, you could simply reject her advances. There was no need to make her cry. Even though they're just children, it still takes courage to express their affection for others. "I did reject her. It's not my fault she cries so easily. What can I do about that? Her choice to cry has nothing to do with me. I didn't hit her or scold her," Zachary said, curling his lips in disdain. Orissa chuckled, ruffling his hair as she said, "Even when rejecting someone, you need to be considerate. Don't hurt a girl's feelings. What does their sadness have to do with me?" Zachary expressed disdainfully. He simply didn't care about them. "I didn't ask them to like me." Orissa's lips twitched as she looked at the kid and noticed that his expression eerily mirrored Benjamin's arrogance. "Mommy, shall we go out? Grandpa is still in the living room, right?" Gavin observed secretly from the side. Seeing that Orissa's attention had already shifted, he quickly urged her to go to the living room. "He's still here. I didn't see you kids around, so I came over to find you," Orissa said softly, looking at the children. "Let's go keep Grandpa company, Mommy." Jessie tugged at her hand, leading her out of the study. The other few kids exchanged glances, then quickly followed suit. Oliver looked at Orissa and asked with concern, "Mommy, are you okay?" Orissa paused for a moment before realizing what he was asking. "Mommy is fine. Mommy, from now on, let's avoid those annoying people so they won't ruin our mood." Jasper grumbled, showing his complete disdain toward Beatrice. Orissa curved her lips into a smile, assuring them, "Yes, I understand. From now on, these people won't be able to affect my mood, so you kids don't need to worry anymore." The 6 kids gathered around her, heading together to the living room where Darius and the others were still present. The kids were worried that Orissa would notice what they had been up to in the study, so they tried their best to divert everyone's attention. Laughter and cheerful chatter once again filled the living room. The elders' gazes were constantly fixed on the kids, and the curves of their smiles never faded. Sean found an angle and captured the scene, swiftly sending it to Benjamin. However, he waited for a long time without receiving a response from Benjamin. The message he sent received no reply, indicating that they were still searching for someone on the other end. Have they still not found the person? Sean's brow furrowed, his underlying worries intensifying more and more. While everyone's attention was focused on the kids, he sneaked out to call Benjamin, but the latter didn't answer. He tried calling Kingsley again, but the result was the same, no one answered. Sean continued to call Ethan and Jack, but he was unable to reach either of them. What's happening? Deep down, Sean felt somewhat uneasy. The desert is full of dangers, and the fact that I can't reach any of them. Could something have gone wrong? He then directly contacted the base, but the phone rang for quite a while without anyone answering. What are you doing, Mr. Bailey? My mommy is calling for you to come in and eat some watermelons. Jasper said as he ran over to invite Sean inside. I was just making a phone call. Sean glanced at the kid, his underlying worry possibly quite apparent. Jasper gazed at him intently, his eyes filled with anticipation as he asked, "Were you calling my daddy? Could it be that he has made contact with daddy?" Deep down, Sean felt it was best not to let the kid know. After all, he was only speculating and wasn't sure if something had really gone wrong over there. No, I was calling my colleague. Oh, Jasper nodded. But the very next second, he said, "We just tried to contact daddy, but we couldn't reach him. We don't know how he is now. Did you just get in touch with your father?" Sean looked at the kids in surprise, wondering if they had also guessed it. Chapter 1587. After nearly an hour and a half, the sandstorm finally subsided at the base in the northwest desert. Everyone began to emerge from the piles of sand, their heads and faces completely covered in sand, presenting a picture of utter disarray. Ethan wiped the sand off his face and immediately searched for Benjamin. However, after scanning the surrounding crowd, he found no trace of Benjamin, causing a jolt of alarm in his heart. In a hurry, he searched for someone and asked, "Where is Mr. Graham? Where is Mr. Graham? Weren't we all gathered around just a moment ago? Mr. Graham," the bodyguards called out in unison. They even started to dig through the sand pile, hoping that Benjamin was unharmed. Mr. Graham. Ethan looked around anxiously, his worry mounting. How could a person just disappear like that? Although the sandstorm had ended, the air was still filled with dust and sand, making visibility rather poor. Cough, cough. Everyone was choking so badly that they couldn't catch their breath. Without hesitation, they all started to look for Benjamin. "Mr. Graham, where are you?" Ethan asked as he walked downward. Suddenly, he stumbled and fell onto a pile of sand. Cough, cough, cough. A bout of coughing echoed in his ear, clearly not his own voice. Ethan turned his head and saw a gray, hazy head emerging from the sand pile, and he was overjoyed. "Mr. Graham." Ethan hurriedly crawled over, using both his hands and feet to dig through the rubble. Cough, cough. Benjamin had his face and head covered in dust, his mouth full of sand. If one didn't look closely, one wouldn't even recognize him. For the first time, Ethan saw Benjamin in such a disheveled state, and he almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. He brushed the sand off Benjamin's body and asked with concern, "Mr. Graham, are you all right?" Benjamin glanced at him. "I'm okay. How is everyone doing?" "Everyone is fine." Ethan surveyed Benjamin's body, only relaxing when he saw that nothing was amiss. "Mr. Graham, weren't you inside just now? How did you end up here?" "There's a bit of quicksand." Benjamin's brows furrowed in concern. Earlier, worried about holding everyone back, he had let go of their hands. Thankfully, it was a close call but no harm done. Upon hearing his words, Ethan was taken aback. There was a period of suffocating discomfort when he had gotten buried in the sand, during which he truly hadn't noticed that Benjamin had disappeared. "Mr. Graham, you should have held on to us. It was too dangerous. If anything had happened to you, how could we explain it to Mrs. Graham and the kids?" Ethan brushed the dust off Benjamin's hair and took out a handkerchief to wipe his face. Benjamin casually brushed it off, not bothered by what had just happened. "I'm fine now, aren't I?" Benjamin beckoned his bodyguards over, pointing to the spot he had just buried something. He instructed them to start digging. "Mr. Graham, what are you digging here for?" Ethan asked, puzzled. "I feel there's a hole below." Benjamin stared at the spot, reflecting on his recent sensation, growing increasingly certain. Ethan's eyes widened as he rallied everyone to action. "Be careful, guys." At the same time, he grasped Benjamin and moved him a bit aside, closely guarding him and not daring to take a single step away. Benjamin glanced at Ethan. Upon noticing his tense demeanor, he let out a teasing remark. "Why are you so nervous? Weren't you just about to laugh?" Ethan's scalp tingled for a moment, and he quickly denied, "No, I was just worried about you." Benjamin gave a soft snort. He knew Ethan quite well. He was worried about himself, no doubt, but he couldn't rule out the possibility that he was also amused. "You'd better not tell Mrs. Graham about what just happened," Benjamin warned him sternly. Ethan didn't dare to disobey the order. "I know, Mr. Graham. You're really not hurt anywhere, are you? Do I look like I'm hurt? Clean yourself up. You're all filthy." Benjamin raised an eyebrow. His body was filthy, but it did not diminish his domineering aura. Ethan's lips twitched slightly. Just moments ago, he had been so worried about Benjamin that he had forgotten about his own image. Yet, Benjamin had the audacity to show disdain toward him. "Mr. Graham, Mr. Frank, come over here and take a look." At that moment, a cry of surprise came from the bodyguard's direction, drawing their attention. Chapter 1588. The spot where Benjamin had just risen revealed a hole, which, upon inspection, appeared quite deep. The surrounding sand continued to fall into it. "Mr. Graham, how did you know there was a hole below?" Ethan asked, utterly astonished. No wonder Mr. Graham had just ordered the bodyguards to dig at this spot. It seems he had suspected that there was something mysterious underneath. "It was a guess," Benjamin replied as he stared at the dark hole. When he was swept down, he felt something was different beneath him. Ethan was filled with admiration and told Benjamin, "Mr. Graham, may I go down and take a look?" Benjamin furrowed his brow, but he still agreed. "Bring a few men down to investigate. Start from the bottom of the ranking." Affirmative. Ethan selected 5 bodyguards, prepared the necessary protective measures, and then descended into the cave entrance. Benjamin and his companions observed from above what was happening below. "Have we reached the end?" Benjamin inquired about the situation below. "How is the air down there?" "Mr. Graham, we've reached the bottom. It's about 10 meters deep. There's air here," Ethan replied as he surveyed the surroundings, simultaneously raising his hand to signal the bodyguards following him to observe the area. "Mr. Graham, there are other passages below. They don't seem to be naturally formed. We'll go check them out first. Stay safe, and return immediately if there's any danger." Benjamin shouted down, insisting that they prioritize their own safety. "Understood," Ethan responded, leading his team to investigate first. Benjamin narrowed his eyes, wondering how there could be an underground passage here. He pulled out the satellite phone he always carried with him, only to realize it had no signal. A sense of alarm welled up within him. "Check your satellite phones," Benjamin instructed, gesturing for everyone else to do the same. "There's no signal, Mr. Graham." "Mine has no signal either." Everyone's responses were the same. The magnetic field at this location was fine, yet it couldn't receive any signals. This could only indicate one issue. The signal here had been blocked by someone. Benjamin's brows furrowed tightly as he immediately ordered 2 of his men, "Both of you, go down and tell Ethan and his team to come up." The 2 bodyguards skillfully tied the ropes around themselves, moving as swiftly as they slid down the hole. The bodyguard responsible for ensuring Benjamin's safety also began to worry about his teammate. "Mr. Graham, do you suspect that?" "I'm not entirely sure, but it's safer to bring them back up here," Benjamin replied as he stared down below, carefully listening to the movements underneath. The combination of the tunnel and signal jamming was definitely more than a coincidence. The desert served as the best barrier, so he hoped things were not as he had imagined. The 2 bodyguards who had just descended hadn't given any response. They waited for 10 minutes, yet there was still no sign of activity below. With a tense expression, Benjamin was uncertain about the situation below. As time went on, their safety became an increasing concern. "I'll go down and take a look." Upon hearing Benjamin's words, everyone turned their gaze toward him, expressing their disagreement. "Mr. Graham, we are currently unaware of the situation. Please, don't go down there. Let us go instead." As Benjamin glanced at them, he saw that he had brought quite a lot of men with him. He then decided to let them go first. 20 of you, head down there and search for the others. Maintain a distance of 5 meters from each other. Don't stray too far apart. You have 10 minutes. Report back to me regardless of whether you find them or not. Understood, Mr. Graham. 20 bodyguards immediately prepared to descend into the hole, while the people above helped by holding onto the ropes, ensuring their safe landing. Mr. Graham, I think we should leave it be and head back first. The local guide had already begun to feel uneasy and dared not stay here any longer. Indeed, Mr. Graham, it's too dangerous down there. If it collapses, we won't be able to escape. We should leave. They all backed away, each one unable to resist the urge to leave. None of them wanted to risk their own lives. Benjamin swept his gaze across the room. None dared to meet his intense and stern gaze. You guys can leave. These people can't be relied upon in moments of danger. To understand the situation below, I need to rely on my own men. The group of locals exchanged glances, then expressed their gratitude. Thank you, Mr. Graham. You shouldn't take any more risks, though. Please leave as soon as possible. Chapter 1589. Before long, the group of guides had disappeared without a trace. Mr. Graham, are you really letting them go? Peter frowned disapprovingly. They couldn't help and ran away at the first sign of trouble. And what about it? Benjamin glanced at him, unconcerned. Maybe they know something. We could question them. Peter was frustrated. If they knew or wanted to say something, they would have already. Benjamin signaled to them. Spread out and keep an eye on your surroundings. Affirmative. Peter waved his hand, signaling everyone to disperse. They formed a circle, vigilantly monitoring the safety of their surroundings. Over at Yaleview, Orissa returned to the master bedroom to take a bath, while Darius also retired to his room to rest. Sean, along with the 6 little ones, was in their room, trying once again to contact Benjamin, but to no avail. Mr. Bailey, could Daddy be in danger? Gavin's face turned pale, his heart increasingly filled with unease. Timothy, Oliver, Jasper, Jesse, and Zachary were also visibly concerned. Nothing will happen. Your daddy is someone who can handle any danger. Sean tried to reassure them, but deep down, he was also unsure. They had been unable to reach him, which most likely indicated that something had gone wrong. However, the severity of the situation was unclear to them at home. I'll get in touch with Jonathan, Sean told the kids. He promptly contacted Jonathan as he remembered that the latter was on a business trip somewhere in the West. He knew it would be faster for Jonathan to gather his men and head there. The little ones looked at him and waited quietly. Hello, Jonathan, you finally answered the phone. Sean managed to get through only on his second attempt and quickly spoke up. What's the matter? I'm at a social event, came Jonathan's voice amid the lively background noise. Find a convenient place. It's an urgent matter. Sean was cautious about keeping the details secret. The situation with Benjamin was undoubtedly significant, and if word got out, it could be disastrous. Jonathan quickly excused himself from the gathering and left the private room, heading downstairs. I'm in the car. Go ahead. Now that he knew he was in a secure location, Sean explained the situation to him. Are you near the western base now? We haven't been able to contact Benjamin. Hurry and go find him with your men. I'm afraid he's in danger. I'm on my way now. When was the last time you guys contacted Benjamin? Jonathan knew that Sean wouldn't reach out unless it was critical. This afternoon, before he left. He called Orissa, but there has been no contact since he departed, Sean quickly briefed Jonathan. Kingsley and Jack haven't found anyone yet, and now we can't even get in touch with Benjamin and his group. It's truly frustrating. I'll rush over soon. You go ahead with the others. Perhaps it's best if you don't come over yet. We also need someone to keep an eye on Benjamin in Delmore. If you leave, Orissa will surely grow suspicious. Jonathan reassured Sean, not wanting him to rush over. It would take him several hours to get here. He was too far away to help. Sweethearts, have you taken your bath? Orissa suddenly entered, and the 6 kids all turned to look at her. When Orissa saw Sean on the phone, she lowered her voice. Aren't you going to take a bath? I have already filled the tub for you. Hurry up and get your clothes to bath. Okay, the little ones responded, sneaking another glance at Sean. Sean quickly ended the call. I have to go. Keep in touch. Jonathan heard Arissa in the background and decided not to say more. He ended the call and immediately headed toward the base. Mr. Bailey, you should rest early too. Don't stay up too late. Playing with them, you have work tomorrow. After preparing the bath for the children, Arissa came out and spoke to Sean, not noticing anything unusual. Chapter 1590. Arissa, you can rest assured. I'll go to bed soon. You should go to sleep too. It's not good for pregnant women to stay up late. Sean smiled, trying to hide any signs of unease from Arissa. Mommy, go to sleep quickly. After we finish bathing, we're going to bed. Good night. Jasper had already taken off his shirt and waved to Arissa. Arissa looked at them and said, Go take a shower, my darlings. Good night. Good night, Mommy. Gavin and the others bid her good night and went into the bathroom to shower. Arissa nodded at Sean. I'm going to sleep now. You should sleep early too. Yeah. Sean watched Arissa leave the room. After waiting for a while and hearing the door close, he went to close the bedroom door. At this point, the children all came out. Mr. Bailey, let's go find Daddy. Zachary looked up at Sean, determined. Sean was startled. Seeing the determination on Gavin and the others' faces, he hurriedly tried to dissuade them. Kids, if you go over there, it will only make everyone more worried. You should stay at home. I can go by myself. What adults can do, we can do too. Zachary stared at Sean, looking displeased. Sean patted his head. When Zachary stepped back, he glared at Sean and said indignantly, Don't underestimate us. Maybe we can find a way to locate Benjamin faster than you. I'm not underestimating you, but going there is too dangerous. If something happens to you, how can I explain it to your mommy? Your daddy will definitely not let me off. Sean really didn't dare to bring them along and cause trouble. Even if they had a solution, he still didn't dare to. Forget it, scaredy cat. You go find my daddy quickly. We'll wait at home for news. If you can't find him, we'll go later. Gavin compromised. Go now. Don't waste time. Jasper also agreed, urging Sean. Sean looked at them and warned them, Promise me that you won't sneak over. Don't make us search for you when we're busy looking for your daddy. Understood. The 6 children pouted their lips, responding in unison. After repeatedly reminding the children, Sean left the Graham residence. On the way, he continued calling Benjamin's phone, but still received no answer. In the children's room, the 6 kids sat together, facing each other. Should we still go find Daddy? Timothy looked at Gavin and his siblings. He was worried about Benjamin too but didn't know how to locate him. What Sean said was right. If they went, they might only cause trouble. Let's go, Jasper said firmly. Zachary nodded. We must go. Otherwise, every minute we wait, Daddy is in danger. Gavin also agreed. More people mean more strength, but we can't all go. His siblings turned to him in unison. Who should stay? Gavin glanced at them. If they all set off to find their father, their mother would definitely become suspicious. Gavin and I will go. You all stay behind, Zachary decided directly. I want to go too. Jasper protested hastily. I want to go too. Jesse refused to be left behind. More people meant more strength. Gavin is quite familiar with that place, so it would be best if he goes with me. If too many of us go, Mommy will become suspicious. Plus, there are unknown dangers on that side. If something happens, we'll need your support. Tim and Jesse don't understand much about those things. By staying behind, you can provide us with the necessary information. Zachary explained to them in detail, persuading them all to stay and support Arissa. Gavin, Oliver, Jasper, and Jesse pursed their lips, unable to do anything. They had to admit that what Zachary said was indeed reasonable.